Hi everyone, Dr. Cervone with Cumberland Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Today we got a pretty interesting case to talk about. I've had a couple patients the last couple months that came in with the same problem. One was a man, one was a woman, and they have pain in their groin and in their private parts. Now, why in the heck would you come into a chiropractor's office to get that fixed? Well, like we talk about all the time in here, we treat muscle, joint, and nerve problems from head to toe. So even in the private areas, this is an area that we got to treat like anything else. There's muscle there, there's nerve there, and there is a joint there. So we're going to assess it just like we would an elbow, a wrist, your back. We're going to take that kind of broad look approach at it, and we're going to figure out exactly what's going on. And if you have this problem, stick around and listen to this video. Okay, so let me tell you the story of this young guy patient I had. He came in, he had this pain in his groin that kind of radiated down into his private parts, and he's had it for years now, and he's seen just about everybody that he could possibly see for it. The pain kind of started without a real reason. He went to his normal primary care doctor, they couldn't find anything, they put him on some medication, and it didn't do anything. He went to a massage therapist and got some things worked out. It didn't really do anything. He went to a urologist and they tested him for some of the more serious stuff. They did some blood work and they were looking for even things like cancer. It all came back negative. They could not find anything going on with this. So he's really kind of at his wit's end. He's talking to a surgeon about doing an exploratory surgery even. And he's a young guy and he wants to have kids still. So he's really kind of at his wit's end. Last resort, he comes to our office because he knows we do some of this muscle and nerve work. And I treat him just like I would any other patient. We do our diagnostic algorithm on him, and I find some things wrong in his kind of hip region here. Okay, so we're looking at our anatomy here. This is kind of the front of the body and the pelvis here. If I zoom in, and we start to look at some of the nerves and some of the muscles in this area. Now, we always talk in a lot of our videos about the hip flexors and this psoas muscle. And you can see there's a lot of different nerves that run along the psoas muscle on top of it that pierce through it. The one we're kind of in particular looking at for this case is this nerve right here. It's called the genitofemoral nerve. And it passes from the lumbar spine, comes down around into that hip flexor muscle, and it kind of runs on top of it. And then it starts to make a turn and come towards the groin and down towards the private parts. In males and females, this is a nerve that supplies the skin and some of the muscle in that area. So on our patient we were talking about, he had pain kind of in the area of this nerve, and like I said, we treated it like anything else. We got our hands kind of around the problem in this pelvic and the hip flexor area, and immediately I just felt this tighten up, especially right where this nerve kind of crosses over the pubic bone here. It was just a hard spot. So just like we would anywhere else, we got that nerve sliding off of that bone. We got the nerve sliding past the hip flexor muscle here again, and that fixed his problem. Okay, so we saw how this nerve can go to this area of pain in men and women. So, and I'm not saying that every time you have pain in your private parts, you need to run into the chiropractic office. Go to your primary care, get the test, and rule out the big scary stuff that we're worried about. But if you're like this patient, you're at your wit's end and you've tried everything and they say nothing's wrong with you, come into our office. Let us check this. It could be this kind of nerve and muscle problem leading into your private parts that cause that pain. That's what we're specialists at here, is the muscle, nerve, and joint pain from foot to head, all over the body. This has been Dr. Cervone with Cumberland Chiropractic and Sports Medicine, where we get you better faster.